is on biodiversity, traditional medicine, and public health care. Although it says Africa, I'm going to concentrate on the regions of our focus, Eastern and Southern Africa. I think the whole aim, given limited time, the whole aim of the presentation is to show the symbiotic relationship between biodiversity, the question of environment, traditional medicine, and public health. And that is the structure of the presentation. And on the introductory part, most of the issues have been pointed out by some of the panelists in the previous session, in the sense that traditional medicines and traditional medicine in general has been used here in our continent and the developing world for centuries. So it's not something new. So that's why, as Derry was pointing out, it's a question of when you do your experiments or whatever for 10 years, compared to someone who has been using it for I don't know how many years. There's a question there to be discussed or to become common, because that one is based on experience, and also when people say that's not scientific, of course it's also based on observation and lifelong experimentation, things like that. So there's also science involved in that one, although Western knowledge doesn't want to acknowledge that one. And they pointed out why a large proportion of people go into traditional medicine. It's affordable, accessible, and culturally acceptable. So that's why people go to traditional medicine. In the community, the traditional healer, they respect him, he knows the family, things like that. And also why people now put more emphasis on traditional medicines and the issue of indigenous knowledge in drug-led research is the increasing cost of conventional medicine. So as somebody pointed out, people look for alternative ways of reducing the cost of medicine, especially at the community level. The definitions of what is traditional medicine have already been pointed out. Biodiversity is defined there in the context of traditional medicine. It's a variety of within and between special plants and the whole ecosystem is part of the biodiversity. And what I'm trying to show here is that if you destroy or disturb that ecosystem, of course you affect the whole chain of availability of medicinal plants, food plants, which people in the local communities have been depending for years. There's the methodology, because I couldn't go around the whole Eastern and Southern Africa. Mostly it was dependent on secondary sources which were available and abundant, and required information was relevant to discussion. So most of it is based on that type of thing. But what I wanted to share with you, especially to show how traditional medicines and the importance of biodiversity is one of the issues which we tend as men to shy about. But it's one area which is very important in traditional medicine, but we don't want to talk about it. And that is the issue of the case of male reproductive health. That if you look at most of the reproductive health care, it concentrates on women, issues of family planning, but the issue of men, rectal problems, whatever, tend to be shied about. But this is an issue which traditional medicine has been doing for years. But conventional medicine does not take those things seriously, and those people who are being affected, they tend to do it in a shy way or secretively, or trying somewhere else if it works or things like that. So the most important thing I wanted to show you that is one of the most important aspects which we could show that traditional medicine and a large proportion of both male, even female, go there to get consultations. And it also indicates that the concept of traditional reproductive health care in most African countries has tended to focus on women, focusing on those issues like planning, family planning, and other aspects. Yet, over 300 million men worldwide are faced by that problem. And then, if you look at most of the treatment we use is conventional, the Viagras, whatever things like. And all these have got their own side effects. Most of them are too expensive for ordinary people, so they depend on traditional medicines. And the causes are different, the impact also are different. And what I'm trying to use, or what we're trying to use, my colleague here, work together, is to use examples from South Africa and other regions within Eastern and Southern Africa to show the efficacy of traditional medicine in mitigating this male reproductive challenge. If you look at in South Africa, for instance, an inventory of the Bapedi people, they live in the Limpopo province, they show that a total of 21 medicinal plants are being used to mitigate that challenge. You can look at the biological aspects there. I'm going fast because of time. So the Bapedi uses the Bapedi, as I said, is an ethnic group in Southern Africa. And it shows also how they prepare the medicines by pounding, chewing, boiling, and also mix it with other liquidical aspects. In the question of some herbs were roasted, smoked, with the question of administration. They were mostly taken only orally, 1 week, in other words, those are prescription to ensure that that problem being mitigated. And when you come to the question of validation of these plants, because they've been used for years, and also another important, it's not only in South Africa or in Zimbabwe, they are used across different countries by different traditional healers, by different people, and this also show that these plants are effective, otherwise people wouldn't have gone there. So I will give you examples, different ethnic groups within Eastern and Southern Africa, the Maasai, the Shona and Zimbabwe, they're using those aspects there, both as a preventive, also as a cure. As someone pointed out, we tend to concentrate on the cure rather than looking at the preventive aspect of traditional medicine. So those are also examples here that are very traditional and valuable. I mean, those are examples to show the threats, because I also want to share with you what are the different threats to biodegradable traditional medicine which also impact on public health. The studies done among the Maasai show their valuable knowledge in all aspects of life, but you find that their knowledge is not documented, and also it cannot be shared globally. If you're not documented, because nobody knows about it, so it's susceptible to loss. And also studies done in Tanzania by Kayombo and others, there's the title of the study there, show that traditional medicines and its practitioners play an important role, especially in the rural areas where medicinal facilities, modern, they are not available, so they use those traditional ways. And then in these studies also, they show that there are a number of threats which affect traditional medicine about diversity. You find that when there's a problem of medicines being over-exploited, taken outside the countries, and the over-exploitation also affects sacred forests, which shows also lack of respect for culture and traditions. It's also another aspect. When you look at the impact of over-exploitation of traditional medicines or the biodiversity, it's not only in terms of the availability of the plants, but also in terms of the cultural traditions of the people, because traditional medicine is holistic. And also another important aspect is the fact that the climate change also affects the distribution of the genetic resources, and if these plants and species are being affected, they are not available for use by a large population. And also there is no absence of inventory. Those are the aspects which have been discovered or found by the studies done in Tanzania and the other parts. And also another aspect whereby in South Africa we are trying to promote what we call triple heritage, that cultures should share traditional medicinal knowledge. But in the other parts of Africa whereby they look at alternative medicine, especially Chinese medicine, as competitive, because most of them depend on traditional medicine or healing for life. For if another person comes with the own system of traditional medicine, it becomes competitive. So that's also a problem. So another threat, which was also done in Zambia, Western Zambia, demonstrate how a large proportion of people also use traditional medicine. You can see how wide traditional medicine is being used. And also they use different ways of protecting it. For instance, one example is the belief that one cuts the whole plant for medicinal use, or the disease that you can cure will be transferred to the family. So people get scared, so they can't cut it, so they feel their whole family will be affected. But those are ways to teach young people and other people that they must do sensible and what we call the sustainable harvesting of the medicinal plants. So quickly, because the time is limited, the recommendations is they need to promote traditional medicines and associated knowledge system, because a lot of people depend on them. And also, there should be training, as some people suggested, that just as we need to train traditional healers on particular aspects of modern conventional medicine and practices, there is also need for those people who are training conventional medicine to know the well-used epistemologies and practices and values of traditional medicine. And also, government in the regions should support research in traditional medicine, production of drugs for medicinal plants by also emphasizing sustainable harvesting. And also there must be genuine collaboration based on trust, respect, transparency between researchers, and also genuine collaboration will lead to disclosure of the secrets, because most people don't trust conventional medicine. It is easy for a healer to send a patient to a conventional practitioner and the other way around. So there must be mutual collaboration. And also, as DG said, we should not always associate traditional with witchcraft, because there is also science involved in those aspects. And then the training of issues of hygiene. Traditional healers accept that they've got their own limitations in terms of hygiene, whatever. So there must be collaboration, partnership, training on those aspects.